Feel quite chilly, at best 14, maybe 15 degrees. The good news is that high pressure will build as we go through the weekend, and that should ease the winds down, so the wind's becoming lighter. However, it does stay quite chilly with the risk of overnight grass frost.
Right, hello from the office, and I thought I'd just start off by giving you a wee introduction because I don't think I maybe explained it quite so well at the start of the video, which you'll see in a minute. But I've been fancying a through hike for quite some time, and the perfect opportunity arose this weekend. I had an unexpected 3-day weekend which started the brain cogs going, and my brother, who hasn't been out with me for quite some time, was keen to do some Munros, so it presented a rather fine opportunity for, well, 2 cars to start off with, one to leave at one destination and then to drive all the way around to another destination and come back. So with the weather forecast looking really good, that's what we were doing. The plan was to do 3 Munros with my brother. He would head home and then I would head back all the way back to where I'd left my car, and I was hoping to do another 3 or 4 Munros after leaving him and camping out for 2 nights. So let's cut to me at the end point, leaving my car and meeting up with my brother. And hope you enjoy the adventure, and I'll see you back here at the end of the video where I can give you an overview of what I learned and how it went. So anyway, cut to me in the car park. Good morning, folks. I am at Highland Village and it's Saturday and we have a Monday off, so I am going to be back here in 3 days, but I'm not starting from here. I have met up with my brother, who, for those long-term viewers, might recognise Ross, and we're away to drive round and do 2 nights camping over possibly 5 or 6 Munros, but we'll see how we go. Weather's not looking too good, so I'm going to shut up now and I'll report back when we're at our starting point. Right, shall we go? Let's go. So having dropped our car off at the end point, we jumped in my brother's car and drove all the way round and past Loch Laggan to the start point, which is the general start point for the 3 Munros. Right, so we have driven for about another, 45 minutes round, and it's a busy place. We're away to do 3 Munros. The plan of action is my brother and me are going to do 3 Munros, he's going to come back, and then I'm going to continue the through hike to hopefully get back to the car. It's through some pretty remote country, so he's going to have a nice light day pack on today, and I'm going to have my big monster pack on. I might be a bit slow, I might be holding him up a bit, I might be holding me up today, Ross. But anyway, let's go, and we'll report back when we're on the trail. Let's have an adventure. So we set off along the estate track, and things were looking pretty good at this point. There was a bit of a hike in to the start of the ascent, but the forecast was looking pretty good, as I mentioned, and it was looking true to its word at this point as we approached a lovely sandy beach to stop at. I'm going to stop here. There's a lovely, lovely beach, as you can see, and the mountains we're going up today are over here. There's 3 Munros and it's starting to clear, so there's hope yet. But it does look very, very breezy up there. So let's get a bite to eat here. I think a pork pie or a Scotch egg will keep me going. That's nice, isn't it? Right, we'll make a move. Time to start ascending. Oh, it's a heavy pack. So we've got to start ascending up now. Basically from this loch, the first Munro, the ascent starts just after it. So it's been a nice, gentle walking until this point, and it's taken us about an hour to get here. But now the hard work begins. The big heavy pack's going to start making my life a bit harder, so we'll report back when we're a bit further up. Right, let's go. With the sun shining on the beach, we headed off and started the ascent up the first mountain. And as we headed up the grassy slopes, the weather looked like it was, well, to be honest with you, it looked like it wasn't going to be sunny. The incoming fronts from the north looked like they were going to be bringing cloud, and that's certainly what happened. As we got a bit higher up into the hill, we were soon engulfed in the cloud, and the wind started to pick up. Things at this point weren't looking so rosy. And here we are on the summit of the first Munro, Craig Peaksy, well done. Oh, this is the smallest one of the round, it's 924. I tell you, it's cold, the forecast is below freezing. Certainly below freezing with this wind chill, so it's time to get the jacket on before heading on to the second one. So we didn't linger long on the summit because it was a bit cold. And as I mentioned, the plan for today was 3 Munros, and this was the first and smallest of the trio. After this, we were to drop down to Abilach before heading up to Munro number 2. So we did that and had some lunch in the shelter at the Abilach. Oh, right, we've come off the first Munro. It started to rain, you can see the clags in, it's pretty manky, so we're down at the Abilach between the 2 Munros. We're going to have a bite to eat here because it's not so windy here, it's quite breezy in the tops. I'm going to leave my bag here because we have to come back down here before heading back up. But for now we'll get some lunch. Weather is not as good as forecast. What a shame. So I've come over and just dropped my bag down there. That saves me carrying it up. It's about 200-300 metres of ascent up to Munro number 2. And that is a heavy bag with 3 days worth of food and all that sort of jazz in it. So we're going to head up here and probably do a short bit to camera at the top, and then we'll get back down. The weather's pretty meh. Let's get cracked on. I'm actually keen to get the tent up and get cozied in my bag, to be honest with you. This isn't very nice. But anyway, let's go. That's the summit of Geel Carn, 1,049 metres, and we're in the shelter here. It's quite windy. Well, it's very windy and it's pretty damp and manky. Unfortunately, not what was forecast. So I'm going to put the big camera away and head back down to the bag, and we'll report back later on and see if this weather clears up. Not good at the moment. Cold, wet and damp. So we found some shelter back off the summit to assess things and look at the maps. And yeah, with the weather being so windy, the summit of the 3rd Munro was quite an open plateau and would have been pretty manky. So we dropped down and decided not to do it, and I left my brother and started heading off in the other direction. Right, my brother's headed back. He decided not to go up Benaclack here. I've just come over a call, left him about half an hour ago. Anyway, I've just come over a call, got out of the wind. It's just a constant drizzle, the wind is pretty bad. And yeah, I've got a nice view. This is the first view I've kind of got. I don't know if you can make that out. It's a lovely loch down here. So I don't know if you can make out down there, there's actually a beach. And it's quite sheltered from the northerly wind. It's a tough one. I mean, I had so many plans, but the weather isn't as forecasting. All my plans were up high, and I don't think, if it's like this tomorrow, I'm not going to see anything, so I might just change our plans and try and get down to that beach and do a camp there and then decide what to do in the morning. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, let's see if I can get down here. I don't know how much you can see this, it's all, everything's wet. Right, everything's wet. I don't know if you can make me out. Anyway, I've decided to come down to that beach, as I said. It's just over here. The rain is just constant mizzle. I don't know if you can make it out behind me, but I'm going to put the camera away because it's just getting soaking. I would try and make my way down to this beach and try and get the tent up as soon as I can and get in, and I'll report back once I've done that. But this weather is completely opposite to what was forecast. So much for 90% chance of Cloud-free Monroes. That's Scotland for you now. Right, I need to try and get over here. Time for this camera to go away. This might have worked out okay. Hopefully you can hear this, but the wind, I've just got this spot here, so if I spin you around, up there, that's where the wind's coming from. It's coming over the top. And that's why I kind of, so when I saw this beach, I couldn't resist. It's a wee bit of wind, but not the howling gale that there is up there. So let's see if I can find somewhere to pitch, but not a bad wee spot, I think, given the conditions. Lovely. Right, let's get the tent up. Woo. Right, as you can see, I have got the tent up. I didn't do my usual farting about the camera and showing you me putting it up because I'm pretty knackered actually. I'm carrying that big backpack up the two Monroes. It's taken it out of me, and this wasn't the plan. This is plan B actually. But the reason I chose this, as I mentioned, is it's sheltered from the north and it's going to swing around to the west as well, so I can still see the clouds are whizzing by, and the original campsite that I had planned was a bit higher up and I don't think it was quite as sheltered as this. So I just spotted this, came down, lovely sandy beach, and I'm going to go now, just chill in the tent for a wee while, put my duvet jacket on and try and warm up because it's cold. It's the dampness that gets you. The temperatures were to be hovering around freezing on the top, so it's certainly not freezing here, but it's just the dampness. The rain's off at the moment, but it's been pretty much constant, which has kind of soaked me through. So I'm going to go and chill in here and I'll report back later on. Constant. It's been on for about an hour now. I'm glad that I made the decision I made. Oh man, it's just so disappointing when the forecast was the opposite to this. After what seemed like an eternity, and a few hours at least sitting listening to the rain hitting the tent, I noticed that pitter-patter stop for a short while, so I took this opportunity to get my tea on and head outside and collect water, and yeah, hope that the weather wasn't going to continue to be wet and windy. Right, it's getting on a bit now. It's getting on to 9 o'clock, and I think I've been in the tent for for about 7 hours. There's been wee spells like just now, the rain's gone off, but I'm glad, to be fair, that I made the decision to call it and get the tent up when I did, because I think I got the tent up in about half an hour after that. It just rained for a few hours and it was pretty heavy rain. So yeah, haven't done what I set out to do. Plan A was actually to do the 3 Munros, Craig Petrie, Gael Carn, which we did, but also Benacaclair, which is the furthest out one, which my brother even didn't do because it was super windy and we were just pretty damp at that point. And then my plan was to head out. I was initially going to go over to Ben Even at the end of the ridge, and then tomorrow head up over Ben Alder and Ben Viol and camp up there somewhere. But I then changed my mind and thought I'd try and get a sheltered corrie in one of the corries on the other Gael Carn. But as it happens, I didn't do that. I ended here. So unless it's beautiful sunshine and the high pressure, which was forecast, moves in tomorrow, I'll not be doing that. So my plan B is, I think I'm actually going to head down to Loch Patrick from here, and I might head up a long ridge which leads to a corbett called the Farah, which I did many moons ago, but I didn't do the ridge. Depends how I'm feeling. The last time I looked at the forecast was yesterday. Well, it was this morning actually, and I don't think it's settling down till tomorrow night. But again, that might have changed given what's happened today. I don't know. Plan C is just to head down towards Loch Patrick and then take the estate track back to the car. But it's a long way. I'm in the middle of nowhere here, really. It's a long way from anywhere, and I need to get back to my car, which is at Dalwhinnie. I know from Cooler Bothy it's about 10 miles, 15 kilometres, something like that, so I reckon I'm about 15 miles. This is a very rough guesstimate from the car anyway. So time will tell. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, whether I stay out and do another night or whether I do a long trek back to the car and just call it. But we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling in the morning. It's just this sort of weather, the damp and the humidity. It just soaks through. Tent's done really well. It's kept the water out, which is fine. So I'm going to call it for this evening, and I'll see you guys in the morning, and we can see what the morning brings. Right. Good night. I'll see you in a few hours. Oh dear. Morning. Hello. Oh man, right, it is quite late. It's 9:30. I slept really well last night after the tributes, the trials and tribulations of the efforts put in yesterday. I must admit, I was feeling a bit sorry for myself, a bit downbeat yesterday because of what happened with the weather, and I was expecting not much wind. Certainly wasn't expecting any rain. Anyway, today's a new day. Clouds still down as you see, but the wind's dropped. I don't know if you could have picked it up yesterday, but even down here, this was a perfect spot. It was about as shelter as I could get, because it was a northerly going to a westerly, and in the night the tent was getting buffeted about, but it's a lot calmer today, although it still looks like it's quite breezy in the tops. Anyway, slept well, as I said. The dilemma for today is, do I do plan B or plan C? I'm not going to do plan A, which was to head in over the Ben Alder group, essentially. So it's going to be heading down to Loch Patrick. Either way, there is a river crossing about 2 or 3 kilometres down there, which I'm a bit concerned about. If I can't get across there, I'll have to do a wee bit of a detour round. But for now, it's coffee time. Right, let's look at the done. I don't know if I've actually ever mentioned this, but the coffee that I have, it's just these sachets you get from Tesco. You can get ones with sugar added in, but I just go for the milk ones. I don't take sugar in my coffee. You wouldn't have them at home, but As I've always said, things in a camp, whether it be food or coffee, always taste better. So nice and simple to do as well. Just make sure you don't lose the wrappers in any of the windy conditions. That's the only thing about them. So in they go, and all they need is a good. I usually put 2 in because it's quite a big tub. And then just give it a stir, and then usually have to leave it for 10 minutes to allow it to cool down. And for breakfast today, I'm going to have a pork pie, a Nutrigrain bar, and my staple, which is a bar of Snickers. So let's let this coffee cool down. I'll get some food inside me, and then I'll start striking camp, and we can get on our way and see what challenges today brings. As you can see, I'm slowly getting stuff packed away. It's probably not far away from 11 o'clock. So I've actually just met somebody. I didn't expect to see somebody, and he didn't expect to see me, and he came over to the chat. But what was quite nice is he's coming from Dalwhinnie today, and he says you can get across that river at the bottom with a bit of care. So that's brightened me up, my mood up. At least I don't have that worry whether I'm going to get across there and have to do another 4 or 5 kilometre diversion to get to the other side, so that's good news. Anyway, I'm going to take the tent down now, and I'll report back just before I'm setting off. But yeah, I need to get cracked on and go and find the path and get across this river. Right, that's me just about ready to go. I don't know if you can make out the wee dry patch in the sand where my tent was. So I'm going to head off. That's the rain starting. It's very light rain, nothing like it was yesterday, but this is a YouTuber problem, is keeping my gear dry. Yesterday, I didn't bring an action cam, which is waterproof, because, well, there was no rain in the forecast. So try to keep these big, expensive pieces of kit dry is a nightmare. And I want to try and do more filming today, because the bits you saw yesterday was just when it was when I could get out and it was relatively dry. I didn't dare take it out when it was lashing rain. So anyway, I'll report back further down the track. I'm going to go down and see if we can cross this burn. And I'll make a decision on whether it's going to be plan B, which is going up the Farah and camping up there, or plan C, which is heading back home, because I don't see the point if the cloud's going to be down for the rest of the day. There's no fun roaming in the gloaming and getting wet and miserable like I did yesterday. But you never know, it might lift, but that cloud level has not shifted since I woke up this morning. So I'll report back in a wee while. I've come past the loch now. There's this wide expanse in front of me, and I'm kind of glad that I'm still not sure whether I'm doing plan B or C, but plan A would have been up over these big hills, and I can see that they're still in the cloud and the wind's wisping, or the cloud's moving quickly across them. So had I gone for plan A, I would have been up early this morning, and I would already have spent half the day in the cloud, getting damp, getting battered by the wind. So this is a lot more pleasant. There's a slight breeze blowing me down the glen, and I think the hill that I'm potentially going to go up, so plan B, might be clear, but I need to get my bearings sorted. Anyway, let's move on a bit, and I'll report back down at the loch, or at the river crossing. I'm dropping down now and I've got a good vantage point of my possible objective, and I'll spin you around and show you that now. Right, such a nice landscape, yeah, a good view of how wide and expansive it is. Certainly different to the other areas further west, the sort of places like Glencoe, which are amazing, but you don't get the sense of scale there as you do here, I think, anyway. But anyway, I am got to go down here. I don't know if you can make it out in the camera, but you can see there's a track on the other side there, and that's where I've got to cross this river. So I'm hoping that the levels, water levels, have not risen since the guy left this morning. But yeah, down there, and then this hill over on the left, I'll put a wee marker on it. That, or yeah, your left. That is the start of the big long ridge I was talking about. So, providing all goes well, and when I nip down, you'll see the body of water. That's Loch Patrick. I'm going to skirt round that and then up the side of the trees there and up onto that ridge. It's cloud free at the moment, so that is plan B, and that is what I'm hoping to do, but still quite a few hours before I get to that point. So let's crack on and get across this river. Right, that's me arrived at the river. Thankfully it's not too high, but it's it's quite a wide river. Let me spin you around and show you what I'm hoping to do. You can see down that way, it's there's plenty of rocks. I've kind of been up and down. And I think this bit right here is the best point. There, and across. But there's always one bit which is just looks a bit dodgy. Always with these sort of rivers. So I'm going to put the camera away. Now and concentrate on getting across here and try to keep my feet dry. My feet aren't dry. I'll come on to that later on, but anyway, time to concentrate, get the poles, use the poles, get across here with this big backpack. Right, let's do it. Right, did it. That was actually quite easy. One wee tip, I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but my poles, you can see they're quite high. I extend them to the longest that they can be for doing river crossings, because you're more often than not on top of boulders and you're having to place the poles quite a bit below you into the water to give you some stability. So just a wee handy tip for you. Tip of the day. Extend the poles, right. Yeah, I'm glad that's done. So you can still see the clouds that's hanging about the big tops. So yeah, let's go up here. There's a Land Rover track here that'll take me down to Loch Patrick. I'm going to stop there for some lunch and I'll report back then. So let's go. The infamous Shugally Bridge. Oh geez, it's definitely Shugally. It's more Shugally than I remember. Anyway, it's quite deep down there. These horses, I don't know if you can see the ponies behind me. There's 3 or 4 of them. Beautiful, beautiful ponies. The very first time I ever came to do the 4 Munros to the north of Ben Alder, it's Carn Gerarg, Heel Carn, Anik Beg and Ben Avon. Anyway, I took a picture of them. It was a beautiful day, and I also remember about that day I was chased up the hill by Clegs. Anyway, took a picture of the horses on a beautiful sunny day, and I put it into the local newspaper, the Perthshire Advertiser, and they published it. They put it up as their photo of the week. I remember being really chuffed because I would have been, I don't know, must have been about 25 years ago. I'd be barely a teenager, into my teens, maybe early 20s. Anyway, right, I'm going to go past the horses and try and get somewhere to have my lunch. It's about 2.5 hours since I left, so oh my goodness. Shugally McShugally. I need to come back and get the camera. left my poles. So at this point, look at that pony. It's seen my back was turned and it was straight over towards my poles. And when I turned round, I thought they were goners. I had to rush back and make sure the horse hadn't eaten them. There's the ponies close up. I thought he was coming to eat my poles. Big beasts close up, aren't they? Right, not going to put my... Yeah, you're having a wee gander, aren't you? No food here from you, I'm afraid, fella. Oh man, thought my poles were gone there, right there. I'd left the poles and went back across the bridge to get the camera, and I saw him having a wee sniffy about them. So anyway, there's get a good view of Ben Alder. Now that's it, just there. Yeehaw, right, let's go. I'll maybe get past the ponies before stopping, because no doubt they'll come over and try and get a bite to eat. Nice wee boulder here, I think. Just sit and have my lunch. A wee shower blew through. Certainly, I think the weather front's out to the north and east. You can see it's grey over there. Still, the tops cleared. Tops are covered. Ben Alder's still covered, but looks a bit more promising to the west. I'm hoping that's the high pressure trying to move in. But anyway, time for a pork pie and some lunch. It's been about 2.5 hours since I left the camp, so time for a bite to eat and just to chill before heading up the hill, which is covered in clouds at the moment, but I'm feeling confident it's going to be clear for tonight. That sunshine, if that breaks out there, we might get some sun by the time we get up to the camp spot. Up onto the estate track and off we go. Just come up a wee bit, and how beautiful is this? I just had to stop. Thought I'd video it. Oh, the light's gone now, but there was a wee bit of sunlight dappling Ben Viol there. That's Ben Alder. That's up towards Carn Gerarg there, and I've come in from way, there's my finger, way over there and over the back. What a sight. It's lovely. Big open area of moorland with views to Ben Alder. We will be back here. We've got plans to come and do Ben Alder via one of the wee ridges. But anyway, I'm going to head round here and then I'll be off the path again and starting to ascend. That light's gone completely now and it looks like it's going to rain behind me. Ah man, right, let's go. The fact that there was some light though, that gives me hope. There was sunlight over there. With there being little bits of sunlight, I was quite enthused, so I decided just to go for plan B, which was to head up onto the ridge which sat high above Loch Erich's north side, and I headed up the slopes with some fabulous views behind me. But it looked like I was heading into the clag again. Oh, right, just got the wee camera out. Had to put the big one away to save it getting knackered in the rain. But yeah, I'm heading up here. You can see behind me, and the terrain now is a lot better. I'll just look at it, I'll spin me around, and you can see the grass is very short here, and short grass and heather. Whereas further down it was bogs, deep heather, bit of a nightmare. But yeah, what a lovely, lovely walk up here. Let me just show you this view. It's stunning. That's where I came from, way over there, and that was the Gilles Carn. I was up yesterday, the last Monroe, and camped down there, and I've come all the way down. And the tops are still, the big hills tops are still in the clouds, but there's Loch Patrick, Ben Alder, the Lancet's Edge showing itself there, and then round to Loch Erith. And if, with all being well, I'll be walking along this ridge here, which will be the north side of Loch Erith. But yeah, still some showers kicking about. I'm kind of hoping they're going to die away. There is some brightness further west. Let's see, but for now, I want to get up onto this ridge and I need to find some water. That's the main priority because I don't have enough for camp tonight. Right, let's go. Find water, eh? There's a silly thing to say in this landscape and the weather we've had. I've come a bit further up, but what I need to do now is go and get water. And according to the map, there's a water source just over here in the dip of the corrie there, so hopefully I'll get some water in here and then straight up onto the ridge. There's another shower coming in, so great. A bit like yesterday, I'm just glad I'm lower down. The wind isn't quite as bad, but right, let's go and get some water. So I've had to drop a fair bit down. I was away up there, but I could hear the water was all under the ground. This is the first bit I've seen where it's coming out, so yeah, I'm going to fill up with some water here and then try and get up and hope that the rain goes off. So I got some water at this point and headed further up the mountain. And to my dismay, things started to just get worse and worse again. The clag wasn't clearing, and the rain seemed to get steadily heavier. Just exactly what I was hoping to avoid, but hey ho, up I went and I was soon at the first top on the ridge. Again, it's just a short one because the camera's getting wet. That's the first summit there is it there. On the ridge, Mealcrua, I think it's called. And yeah, Clag's in. Loads of places I can camp though. I think I'm going to head on. There's another top at 901 metres, maybe another kilometre or two on. So I'm going to head along to that and see if I can get there, and then yeah, see whether I camp there, or head on to the actual summit, which is a few kilometres beyond that. So yeah, sorry the footage isn't that great. As I said, it's just raining, wet, miserable. Again, just like yesterday, except no wind. Right, let's go over that way. Again, just a very quick piece of camera. I don't know if you can make out, there's a cairn. That's the 901 metre top, and I've just come over to the side to get the leeward side, and I'm thinking I'm going to camp my backside down there. But I'm going to have to put this camera away again while I set up because the rain's on. I don't know if you can see it or not or hear it, but yeah, it's pushing it down again. So time to get a tent up and get inside and get warmed up, so I'll report back when I'm in the tent. That's the tent up. There you go. Time to get everything in. Get out of this rain. Oh man, right, that's me got the tent up, as you can see. I don't know if you can hear that, still raining. Let's just see, this is the leeward side, so you can see the water beading. And it's not very nice out there. No views. And this is the exact situation that I decided that I was going to do plan C, but when I started the hike at the bottom of this mountain, it was clear. And it's just got steadily worse and worse and worse. So I'm going to chill out for a while, I'll report back later, we'll see if it clears. I'm going to close the door because my feet are getting wet. I just want to chill, I'm quite tired. But I will report back in a wee while. Alright, time for some food. Right, I've not left the tent. It's probably getting on about 7:30 now, and it's going to be dark soon. The rain has kind of gone off though. It's kind of coming and going, but anyway, a bit disappointing. Had I known it was going to be like this, I probably would have just trudged out and back to the car. But that's not to say that we might get something happening in the morning. It might clear. We'll see. It might all be rescued. But the forecast has been spectacularly wrong, even for today. I've got a signal up here, and I was looking at the updates from everyone really. They didn't expect this. The more recent ones from the Met Office have noted the rain coming in. But anyway, I'll show you what it's like outside and why I haven't been outside, just so you can have a look. Yeah, see, look at that, spectacular views. I've nothing. I've no idea what the views are going to be like. I'm hoping that they're going to be nice, if we get any at all. But anyway, I don't know if I'll do much more unless something happens. I don't know if I'll do much more bits to camera tonight. So yeah, I'll possibly see you in the morning. I've not even had any tea. I'm that miserable. I just had a Scotch egg, and I'm going to have a pork pie because I've got some left over. I couldn't be bothered going out into the rain and sorting all my stuff out. I could have done it in the porch, but I don't like cooking in the porch, so I've always got a fear of the tent burning down. Safety first. Anyway, right, maybe see you later. If not, I'll see you in the morning, and we can keep our fingers crossed for something other than the inside of a Scottish cloud. Well, good morning folks. It is, what time are we at? It is 7:45 in the morning. I've been up for about an hour and a bit. I don't know if you can hear that. Still raining. It's not heavy now, it's quite light. and there are no views. I've opened up the tent. Let me just see if I can spin you around to show you the no views. It's the same as yesterday. I don't know if you can make that out through the gauze. Yeah, pretty miserable out there again. So again, I've got a signal here on the forecast as for it to be by mid-morning. To be fair, 90% chance of cloud-free Munros. Where did I hear that before? So I'm going to chill for a while and just see if it eases off. But you know what? It's just been. I just don't feel like it's going to clear. It's very still. So that probably means the cloud isn't going to shift any time, or not very quickly anytime soon. Anyway, I'll bring you back in about an hour. If it hasn't improved in an hour, then I'm just going to strike camp and head off. Well, I'm not going to head off the hill. I'm going to head to the top of the hill. I've still got a few kilometres to get to the summit of this hill, which I'm really hoping isn't going to be in the rain and the clag again. But hey ho, you win some, you lose some, and it is Scotland after all. Shouldn't expect bright skies and clear views, should I? Anyway, right, let's chill for a while, and yeah, I'll bring you back in a wee while. Oh, right, the rain has gone off for the time being, but there's still hee-haw in the way of views. Oh man, I just get an impression that I'm on quite a steep-sided slope beyond here, and I think if it was to clear, I'd get a lovely view. A lovely view down the loch, but it's not clear. So yeah, I'm going to get a coffee on. That's what I'm going to do. Get a coffee on and I'm just going to strike camp. I just hope that it clears at some point. So you never know. Stranger things have happened. Let's get a coffee. I just about gave up hope. Well, still not got hope, but I'm breaking or striking camp, and all of a sudden I could feel the heat, or not the heat, the light. Well, I can feel the heat actually from the sun. I don't know if it's going to clear or not, but I can start to see the loch down here. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but things. God, I'd be so happy if it clears. This would be fantastic. You see the clouds starting to shift. There's a wee bit of blue sky above me, so I'm going to continue getting my stuff away, put my sleep bag away and my mat, and I can hope that I might be able to show you some views, because from this hill you get some fantastic views down Loch Ericht, and yeah, it'd be nice to see them. Right, let's get this stuff away. Just going to take my time. Oh wow, this is amazing. Blue skies appearing ahead. It's clearing so quickly. And the mists are swirling around down below me. So glad that I just waited. Wow. Absolutely beautiful. So I don't know if you can make it out. This peak over here was the first peak I came over yesterday on the way to this point. And this point's at 900, well the top just over there is 901 metres. So I'm probably just below the 900 metre contour, but oh, look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it, with the mist to the left as the hill drops down into the loch. I'm still not going to get that view of the loch, but this is just spectacular. It's lovely. I'm keen to tidy up just now, as opposed to take pictures and too much video, because if the rain comes back on, which it might do, I just want to get the tent down whilst it's dry, and then I'll worry about taking pictures in a wee while, so let's get this stuff away. Well, just as I thought, the sun's gone away for us now, but I'm still quite warm in this duvet jacket, so I'm going to get my other jacket on us now, which is a bit more wind and rain resistant for the hike out, but it's not as warm. It's lovely though, I'm so happy that I've finally got a view after sitting in that tent with that rain hitting off it for so long. What a place to be. Just shows you sometimes patience pays off. And what's the saying? If you don't like the weather in Scotland, just wait 15 minutes, or in my case about 15 hours. 15 hours. Wow. It's just stunning. Right, let's get this jacket on. It's getting a bit darker again, but just thankful I've seen anything at all. So you can see the the clags rolled in again. I'm hoping it's going to come and go, or perhaps go. But it just kind of goes to show you that you've got to make the most of any bright spells when you get them up here in the mountains, because they can come and go so quickly. I'm hoping that it's going to, it's going to clear again, but if it doesn't, I've managed to get a wee bit of sunshine, and that always helps. I've always said that a wee bit of sunshine just makes everything a wee bit nicer. It's a bit depressing the last few days just walking in the cloud. It was okay when I dropped down yesterday. Oh, here comes the sun again. Who knows? But yeah, right, I'll shut up now and get this tent down, and I'll report back in a wee while. Like I've said before, I think I've mentioned this a few times, but the guy lines, mine are a bit too long to be honest with you, so I always tie them up into neat bundles, because if I don't, I've found if it's got really tangled when I've come to get the tent back out, because they just wrap around the tent. So putting them in a nice wee bun helps that. So top tip of the day. Right, just about done. Clear it away. Leave no trace as always. Now I've got to, the journey isn't over yet. I've got about 3 or 4 kilometres to get to the top of this hill, which is a corbett called the Farah, and it sits at 911 metres, so just a few metres below that Monroe height. But that I quite like that. It means it's going to be quiet. I've not met a soul on this ridge. It's a lovely, lovely ridge, to be honest with you. If you're going to do it, I'd do it east to west for sure. Although I'm not getting many views today, I'm going to be back here for sure and heading that way, because the views that way, I mean the views that way are pretty good, but the views that way are even better. So it's a worthy hike. The only thing about just doing it as a day hike is you have to drop down, and it's a long old pull back along the estate track. But anyway, I'm going to get going. The pack is getting lighter and lighter as the days go on, which is fine, that's what I like. And hopefully we can report back to you when I'm a bit further along the path. So let's just get everything tidied up and then let's get going. Time to make a move. For a second there, the view that I was hoping to get down the loch opened up, but by the time I switched the camera on, it closed in again. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to show you it. But I'm happy enough with what the weather's delivered so far this morning. A lot better than it has shown me in the previous 2 days. So let's crack on and see if I can get to the final summit of the trip. What a place. Right, let's go. So having struck camp, I set on my way, and the walking conditions and underfoot conditions were lovely, short grass, and I was delighted that I was getting at least some views, a lot better than what I'd experienced in the previous few days. So on I set for a few kilometres onto the final summit of the trip. Oh, right, I think I'm going to be heading into the Clag shortly, so I thought I'd just show you the view. Can't quite see the end of the loch, but the loch stretching away down, and that hill there to your right is the hill I camped on. So I've been down and up. It's a lovely, lovely walking terrain, short grass, and it's quite, the wind is, there's a wee breeze, but it's actually quite nice, cooling. So yeah, that's the view. Just wanted to show you that. Let's move on and let's get to the top. I'll report back there. conditions were very atmospheric with the mists swirling around, and the summit was coming and going out of the cloud, but as I approached it, it seemed that I was out of luck again, as it looked like it was going to be clagged in when I got there. But it was still 5 minutes away, and when I actually got to the summit, I found that it was clear. Fantastic. Oh, almost a scramble to get up here. Put my poles down here. Ah, the summit, the last summit of the trip. Oh yes, glad to see this. And this is the Farah. This is the highest point, we think. If memory serves me right, you'll be able to the more observant of you may be able to make out a large cairn over there. But this seems a bit higher. But I will be going over there. I'm going to stop there and get a bite to eat out of the wind. And it's lovely. This has been coming and going in terms of it being in the clouds, but all the bigger peaks that I can see are still in the clouds. So that's kind of justified my plan B choice. I think I would have been another day in the clouds. It's nice not to have any rain to deal with today. Slight breeze, beautifully atmospheric conditions. Anyway, I'm going to go over here, get a bite to eat. I've got a wee bit of water left, just enough, and I'm down to my last Nutrigrain bar, so I'm going to have that. So I'll report back later on, but from here it's all downhill to the car, so let's just get off this this wee tour without breaking my ankle. Bit more difficult when you've got a big heavy pack on, I tell you. Right, let's go with it. So I headed off the true summit and headed towards that big massive cairn, which was about 100 to 150 metres further over, and the weather was looking quite good. It was looking better than it had on the whole trip as I headed across here. The sun was even threatening to come out. Get a wee bit of shelter around this side. It's a northerly breeze, so hopefully I'll get a wee bit of a break from the wee breeze around here to have a nice bite to eat. Come up to the top of this rather impressive, humongous large cairn. Must have taken somebody ages to build this, but the views are starting to open up a bit now. That's the summit there. The cairngorms are actually in the sun. Maybe I should have gone to the cairngorms. Well, a very small portion of them are, but over here we're back in the cloud, and I can actually see my endpoint now, away down the village, Highland village of Dalwhinnie, which is away down there. And that's where I've got to drop down to now. It's a steep descent here, so I'm going to head off the summit, which I must admit is a bit different to the last time I was here. This was literally, I almost stepped onto this because it was massive big snowdrifts. What a difference a season can make, isn't it? Anyway, right, time to get back down. And then it's still a bit of a hike. It doesn't look that far away, but it's still a wee bit of a hike to get to the car. So I'll report back and give you my synopsis of the trip. Well, here I am, back at the start, back at the car. Quite a few spaces here. How many cars is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 along that side. 9, 10, 11, 12 or 13 cars you get parked here. For those that are wondering about the parking situation. Anyway, what a great trip it is. It's starting to cloud over now, but it was lovely getting up to the Farah and coming down. The sun was out. It was a steep descent. And yeah, I'm a bit tired, so I'm going to actually go along to the garage at the end and get a bite to eat and a can of fizzy pop. And I'll probably come back to you in the office to tell you what I've learnt about this trip. It has been good. It was plan B, and I spent a lot of time in the tent because of the manky weather, but still very enjoyable. A very enjoyable through hike. So yeah, probably cut to me in the office. I'll see you in a wee while. So hello, I'm back in the office as I promised and said I would, to give an overview of what I learnt from this trip. And yeah, it didn't go quite as planned, and I think the first thing that I would always suggest you do, and something that I did on this trip and executed, was have backup plans. It's Scotland after all, and as you saw in this video, the weather forecast and my plans were dramatically changed because of the weather. It was pretty wrong, to be honest with you, but that's Scotland. It happens, and I think that's the first thing. Don't always rely on the weather. Have your backup plans. I didn't manage to go and do my 6 Munros, but I did have a great adventure, and I changed my plans accordingly. I think that's something which is quite important. The other thing is always carry enough food. I had just enough for the 3 days. I think I was down to my last sort of bar of Snickers or Nutri-Grain bar on the last summit, which was just perfect. And also have the right clothing. Although the forecast was for 90% chance of cloud-free Munros and high pressure moving in, you saw that it wasn't. So I was glad that I had my waterproofs with me. And also my camping gear. I had my summer ground mat, but I did have my winter sleeping bag with a liner, which was perfect. I was just right. I think I would have been a bit cold had I taken my 3-season sleeping bag. This trip was done in the autumn, so it was a nice sort of in between plan, which was good. So that's a couple of things I learned. The other thing was be patient. I was literally holed up in that tent for a long time. I didn't see the point of getting even wetter and more miserable by doing plan A or heading further into the hills, especially on the Saturday where I set up camp. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon that I set up camp, and I was in there. It did stop raining once or twice, but I was in that tent for a long time listening to the rain. But be patient, because as you saw on the last day, again, I didn't get up and just leave. I knew that it was an improving forecast, and it actually got it right on the final day. As you saw, it cleared. So I was glad that I was a bit patient, and if I'd just got up and struck camp about 8 o'clock in the morning when I got up, I would have missed the good weather and would have been off the hill looking back up at it clearing from the car park. So yeah, that was it. Final thing is, again, going back to the plan A and plan B, is just be prepared to alter your route. The high tops were clagged in, and pretty gale force winds on the summits in the first day. So day 2 I did lower, I did a lower route, and the Farah, which I camped on, was a lower hill, although it did clag in. It did afford me some views on day 3. So that's about it. I hope you've enjoyed the adventure. I'll see you on Wednesday. Stay safe out there as always. Yeah, I'll see you on the next adventure. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.